Guess so. All right. Hey, what's up, everyone? It's late here. It's like almost midnight. Anyways, I just got this new app and wanted to test it out tonight. Anyway, today I'm going to do a video on the 3 deadly mistakes that coaches make on their calls after listening to like over 500 calls. So I'm just going to jump into it, check this out, see how this works. Anyway, it's been a while. So let's dive in. So the number one thing that I notice is common among high-ticket transformational coaches is, this is a big one. I'm going to show you how it shows up too. Number one is it working? Yeah. Is there a people pleaser? And this is more common than you think with coaches. The problem with this is it creates this neediness that's really gross. And I always say that nothing kills a call faster than neediness. So how does this look like on your calls? How do you know if you're doing this, right? Because most people think, no, I'm not a people pleaser. I just like people. And how it shows up in your calls is, like, do you need to be liked? Do you spend a lot of time trying to get rapport and making sure that they like you, right? Because when you try too hard, and I always say that people that teach like rapport, the beginning of the call, then you get rapport, and then you get into the problems. Trying to get rapport is, that's not how real rapport is built. I call it small talk. Real rapport comes from asking good questions, getting them to have shifts and breakthroughs on the call, and they go, wow, I never thought of it like that before. And they have these shifts, have these shifts. That's where trust comes. That's where true rapport is. It has nothing to do with whether you're both into a sports team or a cooking show or something ridiculous, right? So another thing how this shows up is they try to be very friendly. Like they're trying to be their friend. And the problem with that is they don't need a friend. They need an expert. And when you try to be buddy with them, it lowers your status, it lowers your credibility, and it lowers your effectiveness to be able to help people have a shift, okay? Another thing it does is when you need people to like you, you don't want to offend them, so you let them off the hook. They give you some story, some kind of BS, and you don't challenge it. You kind of just like, oh, okay, I don't want to rock the boat kind of thing. And when this happens, you're not able to hold space for people so they can have that shift and that breakthrough. Anyway, this comes up like wanting to be salesy. And it makes it also happen, like if you get an objection, then usually the people pleasers just fold because they don't want to come across like a salesy or that they're greedy. This is like the biggest kiss of death. If someone says you just do it for the money, if you really wanted to help people, you do it for free. If you've heard that before, then you're probably number one, or somewhat, okay? Number two kind of ties in. Number two is, this is a big one. Needing the sale. If you can read that, my writing is horrible. And like we said, with the neediness piece, like needing the sale, wanting the sale, the biggest thing that you have to be in the call is outcome independent. Whether they sign up, they don't sign up. You really have to do that. If you have any hint of neediness, wanting them or needing them to sign up, it's going to shift your energy. It's going to shift how you communicate. It's going to also not let you respond in a way that is needed. It's going to let you soften things. It's going to let things slide. You might even find yourself, this is probably more on the last one, so I'll say that one, but you're worried about blowing the sale because you need it. A lot of people, the pattern that shows up is you try to force pain, right? So I always say it's like you try to like leading the witness. You're trying to get them in. Oh, and how bad is that? What's the worst part of all that? And those can be useful at the right time, but it just feels like you're trying to put their face in dog crap. You don't ever want to do that because it creates sales resistance and they shut down. It pushes people away. It creates a ton of objections, right? When you're needy, it's gross, right? And it's like you get to think about it, which is not a real objection. Actually, I'd say 95% of all objections you get, they're not objections, they're just smoke screens. But you get sold. You think it's a real objection. Oh, they don't have the money. They would have did it if they had the money. They told me. Okay, well, how many credit cards did they apply for? 0. Right? Give me a break. If they apply for 10 things, they tried this, they tried that, and they didn't get approved, then yeah, they were in, they just couldn't swing it. Right? But if they don't apply, it's something else. Yeah, and then another thing with this too, because you have the one side of the spectrum with objections usually is people just don't do anything, they fold. They tend to be the number one, like the people pleasers. And then you have the other side where I've heard people say this, like, dude, I did 45 minutes of objection handling. They didn't sign up, but I felt good. It was a battle. I almost got them. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like it's like a badge of honor. That's like horrible, right? So the people who are needy and need the sale, they're gonna go hard in the paint. They're gonna be aggressive, overly assertive. Well, what do you need to think about? You told me this earlier. It's just this energy. It's so horrible. It really is combative, adversarial, and it just doesn't work. You feel horrible after, right? So that's what. Just rip my microphone thing. Hope it's working still. Test. All right. And then number 3, the last one. You mistake. If you can read that, empathy for sympathy. Oh, sympathy. Jeepers. This is a big one. A lot of people, a lot of coaches say, "Oh, I'm empathetic. I'm a what's the word they say? Oh gosh, it's late. I'm fried right now. I'm an empath. But the truth of the matter is, it's not. It's sympathy. You feel bad for them, right? How else is it? You get sold on their stories. You believe everything they say, and their BS, their belief systems are bullshit, right? You feel bad for them. You shrink. Oh, they don't have the money. They poor thing. That must be so horrible. I got to tell you, I feel your pain right now. That doesn't help people, okay? And their frame of their story, of their pain, of whatever it is stronger than your certainty in how you can help them. So because of this, your frame gets absorbed, and you're in this kind of feeling bad thing for them. And because of this, you start to doubt yourself, right? You start to, you start thinking things like you kind of let them off the hook. You're like, oh, I don't want to be, I want to be nice. I don't want to, they're in so much pain. It's not the right time for them. And they're going to continue to suffer for the rest of their life because of it, right? So you can't shrink and feel bad for them. Because you lose frame and you just lose everything, and you can't hold the space for them to, they're lying on the ground, and you're thinking, oh, I could have saved them, I could have helped them, but I didn't. I couldn't get past the objections, and you don't want to save anybody. People are laying on the ground, right? And you need to have them get up and walk across the line. Like even if I could convince somebody, drag them over the line, I won't do it. Because that's where buyer's remorse comes in. That's where another thing is making it too easy for people. I've done this before, and it's, you want to help people. We have a caring heart. We try to make it easier. But the problem with that, it's like the butterfly that's in the cocoon. The caterpillar goes into the cocoon, and it's turns into a butterfly, and it's trying to get out of the cocoon. It's fighting. It's struggling. It's so hard, right? And if you go over and help it, like, I want to help it. So it's suffering. I'm going to help it. And you cut the cocoon open. It doesn't get the strength from the struggle so that it can fly after on its own. So it never flies, ends up dying. And when we make things too easy for people, we try to make it so easy. They don't get the strength of the struggle to actually be able to fly. So having them decide, stepping into their own power, versus trying, like I have a sales background. I can convince all day long. It just doesn't work. It doesn't feel good. People feel like they're being sold. And most coaches hate sales. They hate it with a passion. So you have to learn how to sell, or you're not going to ever have any clients. And you got to find a way that's going to be in alignment to your beliefs, your thoughts, right? So every word in your script that you don't feel, that you don't believe in, that you go, I ask people, they have these scripts, and they're so sold on them. Let me clear this out. They're so sold on them that it's like their baby. And I ask them, this doesn't sound like you. Would you ever talk like this? And they go, no. I go, why is it in there? Well, they told me to put it in there. But do you like it? How do you feel when you say it? Oh, I don't like it. Okay, you don't like it. Oh, I'm clipping like crazy. That's probably what it is. The good thing, it's so late, no one's listening to it. Hello, test, test, test. All right, I'll talk softer. But I'm like, why do you have it in there? If it doesn't feel good. What would you say instead? And they tell me something, that's great. Why'd you say that? Oh, I don't know. So it's really about taking everything out of your script or framework, whatever you're talking about, that's not you. If you have any kind of, one of my clients would call it inner misalignment, then you need to pull it out, right? People think I'm against the fast action discount, the incentive-based pricing. I'm not. I don't care. I just know that the program that taught me it, I didn't sign up on the first call and they gave me the same price, right? And a lot of people I know that went through the program, that was the case. So they tell you have to do this fast action discounts for their own good, create a sense of urgency, which it does work for some people. You just have to understand personality types. Like half of the personality types are going to be like, that'll be good, and they might push them over the edge. And the other half are going to think it's a cheesy, sleazy sales tactic. They were going to be on the fence and they won't do it. I won't do it because if I did it, when they came back, I wouldn't give them the lower price. And I don't want to do that. I want to be able to give them the price because I don't want them to do it because of money. I want them to do it because they finally committed on themselves. They finally bet on themselves. They finally feel worthy enough to do it. Number one reason why people don't sign up, it's not money. Most of the time it's worthiness. They never spent that much money on themselves. They'll do everything. If they're a people pleaser too, because here's the thing. If you attract who you are, not what you want. So one of the things I do when I talk to people on the call before they sign up is I ask them right away, I go, what's the biggest objection you get? And they tell me it's the spouse, or they tell me it's this. Whatever they tell me it is, you know why I ask that? Because 9 out of 10 times, the biggest objection they get is the biggest objection they give. So I know if they tell me spouse, I know I'm going to start working on the spouse objection with them to see if they can do it without their spouse. Like I've had people come to me, how can you help me get past the spouse objection? I go, I can't. They go, why? I go, because you can't buy without talking to your spouse. You can't have a standard for someone else that you don't follow through. It's incongruent. You'll never do it. It's going to be such a horrible energy thing. So either you have to change and then you can do it. It's like the old Gandhi saying. You ever hear that one where it's like a lady brings her kid to see Gandhi and says, tell my son or something to stop eating sugar. And he goes, come back in 2 weeks and see me. So they're like, okay, come back in 2 weeks and sees Gandhi and he says, stop eating sugar. So the mom says, why didn't you tell him that 2 weeks ago? And he said, 2 weeks ago, I was eating sugar. So there you go. Anyway, that's it for tonight. I don't know how long I went. I don't have the timer thing yet. 13 minutes, that's not bad. Audio was probably clipping pretty bad. I don't know why I had it lower, but anyway, I don't think anyone's seeing it. Oh, one person, right? So it's late. So everyone have a good night. I'm getting back into the swing of things. If you have any topics that you want me to go over, just post them or send me a message if you don't want to. Some people are shy. They send me messages. They don't want to put it in under the video. Whatever. Get over your some stuff. Send me something if you want me to go over it because I'm going to start doing some more content. And I'm a little rusty, so forgive me. So anyway, have a good one, freaks, if you see this. And if not, I don't care. All right. See you, everyone. Bye.